Hello and welcome to the final session of this series of Star Trek Kintsugi. We start mid two-part cliffhanger, and we have our ship and our away team split in different places. So we would have seen last time the start with the crew talking to one another. We see that bit of interaction with Ensign Adira Lee, with the captain and the others in the med bay and the situation that she's undergoing. We see you arriving at that comm station and finding that weird subspace interference, following that back, seeing the Doomsday weapon, and then realizing that there's the system is empty, that it has destroyed this system, that it is heading towards a colony. And then as you approach the Doomsday weapon to try and figure out a solution, all kinds of like working on Borg bombs and other things, various ideas on how to disrupt the subspace and so on, realizing that there is a civilization that is living on this weapon. And so we saw the captain and Ward and Jaro, and was Lee there or Visvate there, or were both of you there?
Both of us was there. We
Okay.
took the lead, yeah, for
Okay.
the to be the token crew member who's alongside the main cast.
Okay. Absolutely. So we would have seen that you meeting with this civilization, them telling you that they don't have control of this, but there is a place that you can go down into that is very dangerous, that they think have other systems, but is environmentally dangerous, and they hinted at other dangers that are down there. I think we also get a flash to Vate looking at the knives that these statues were carrying, just to remind us that we've got that sort of weird tie-up. We saw the Romulan ship decloaking and firing and hitting the Kintsugi and sending it in, even as Vate is receiving a psychic communication. I think the psychic communication would have cut away to our returning guest star, Regina Zenvost, her clearly somehow aboard another one of these weapons of mass destruction, that they are moving towards where you are, with the intent of probably eating the colony, but also fighting / consuming this Doomsday weapon. There seems to be something going on there. So that is what is happening. We are going to start with some logistics here. The question is, in terms of the crew that are on the ship, we have Commander Latal there. Latal is playing Latal. Are you okay with playing Lee on the away team, or do you want a different person? Okay. So then the question becomes, what persons everybody else wants to play. I'm assuming that in terms of the ship's actions, and that you'll be handling internal systems control, Latal, right? Okay. So the question is, let me start with you, Paul, since you're the captain. What character do you want to play for the ship fight, and what role do you want to take? You are muted.
Is Farga suited to any of them?
Yeah, you could put Farga on sensor operations. You could put Farga on helm. It's up to you.
Okay, let's go for Farga on helm.
Farga is taking the helm operations. David, who do you want to play?
I don't have any strong connection to these characters.
Do you want to let me have everybody else pick first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, who do you want to play?
Yeah, I guess maybe I don't think anyone has played the commander yet, so maybe I will play Commander Andala.
Okay. So Commander Andala, I put some talents in for her as well as her role action. She has 2 determination as opposed to 1. And she's got a bonus for when she uses buys command dice. There's that. And Lieutenant Vate, who do you want to play?
So we have Farga on the helm, was that right?
Farga is on the helm, and we've got our number 1 as the command officer.
And we have Alan on internal systems control. So we need someone on tactical systems, and we need someone on sensor operations, which is going to be reason plus science, control plus science, or control plus security. So let's have a look. Let's go with I mean, I think Lieutenant Tatata has got the better stats for it, but I'm more tempted by Ensign Tvilic just because he's a much better character in terms of his frustrated ambition to be a security officer. Today is his moment to shine on the tax station, I think.
Okay, so Tvilic on tactical.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's terrible, actually, isn't it? It makes no sense for Tvilic to be on tactical and Tatasa to be on sensor.
It's up to you.
This
is a chaotic moment.
It's the last episode. Come on.
Yeah, let's go with Ensign Tvilic on sensors.
Okay.
And
on sensors?
David, if you're okay with being Tatasa, what I'd like to imagine is that as we go into battle stations, Tvilic rushes over to the tactical station and he's like, yes, time to shine. And then Tatasa just goes, thank you, Ensign, and moves them along.
We need somebody over on sensors.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
How has Tatata been played before?
So she's been very much background character. She is an Orion. She was kind of hoodwinked by a visiting captain, brought in to be a scapegoat for something, and then was cleared of any involvement of it, and they asked her to stay on. She has rotated through duty stations. She's kind of a little bit nervous. In particular, she's very scared of Commander Latal because she's worked under Commander Latal, but she's trying to find her place here.
Okay, awesome. I'll do that.
Okay. All right. So, and and now that voiceover comes, on, and now the conclusion, and we go into that the ship shaking space battle. We see on screen the mouth of the Doomsday weapon. We've got the Romulan ship kind of coming in. So we're going to start then. Donna, who should go first here?
I mean, fastest with the mostest, I think. Commander Latal has an impression of her that I don't think we've seen. So let me play that out. And I'm going to get tactical systems to go first. Hint, hint.
Okay. All right. So for our tactical systems to Tasa, what is it you want to do on this round?
I think see if we can put the weapon of mass destruction between us and the Romulan.
Well, you're doing tactical. So how do you want to do
that?
Just with the
firing weapons?
Well, so if you look at the tactical systems on that ship's actions page, you have a set of choices of things that you can do.
Yeah. All right. Ooh. Okay. Create an advantage.
Yeah. Right now, the advantage that we have in play, like that can be used, is we've got determined and focused crew is still in there for everybody to invoke once during this, but you could create another advantage. Don't forget, advantages are used to reduce the difficulty of attempts to do things.
Okay. Would it make, is there debris or asteroids or anything out here?
What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's some planetary debris that's floating around here.
Of one idea Tatata has is to use the tractor beam to kind of whip these projectiles at the Romulan.
Okay. Rather than firing the weapon, you want to try and do the
Well,
tractor beam?
if firing the weapon is the easiest, then I'm going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, certainly you could use the tractor beam to do other effects to create advantages or other tricky things. But if it's up to you. The standard thing would be to fire the weapon.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and do the standard thing.
Okay. So you're going to be rolling control plus security, 2d10, and then you roll an extra die that needs a 10 or less.
Okay, I don't have dice for that. Should I just roll a 9 and 11?
Yeah, just figure out what will be equivalent to that from your stuff and see what you can do.
Okay, and then an extra d10, you said?
Yeah, an extra d20 rather. Sorry.
Oh, extra d20. Okay, let me see. I don't have that capability to do that. All right.
So you're looking for two.
Yeah, I don't.
Two at 12. Do you have any of your stuff that adds up to a 12 on your own character sheet?
Let's see. 4 and 8. I have an 8 and a 10. I'll do that, and then plus one more d20. Okay, let's give that a shot. I got a 10, 4, and 17.
Okay. So that looks like 2 successes, right? Does that seem right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2 successes. So you fire this off, and you fire a volley at the Romulan ship. The base damage for the ship's phasers is 6 challenge dice. So you can add more challenge dice. Now, I will say that there are 5 points of momentum in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend that momentum to do an extra die of damage, to lower the target's resistance, or to re-roll damage of your choice.
Okay. So how many challenge dice?
Right now, you're rolling 6.
Jeez. Okay. I think I'm going to keep it to reroll.
Yeah, you can roll and then decide if you want. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let me see what this comes up with.
Okay. So we've got a blank, 2 effects, and which are a point of damage each, the jokers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage that you've done. Plus the phasers have versatile. So you get an extra 2 momentum into the momentum pool. Maximum is 6, so it still caps up at that. But the other thing you can do is, since you rolled an effect, you can roll 3 more challenge dice.
Okay. So I just erase these and roll 3 more.
Yeah. What that is,
Okay,
that's the sort of the bonus effect for hitting a second area.
Okay. I got 3 dots.
3 dots. So that's 3 points. So does that. So that will hit. So the first set of hits against the engines. It does go and do damage to their shields. And then the other damage also rolls over onto the engines. So so you did a chunk of damage to their shields with that. Essentially, it laced across, targeting their engines, firing across there. So unless somebody's going to spell momentum, I'm going to have the bad guys go. Okay. So the Romulans are going to fire disruptors, since they already just at the start of this fired their pool. I'm going to spend, I have to spend 2 for that. I'm going to spend an extra threat. So I'm going to roll with 4d20. Oh, that's not the best roll in the world. So that will be a hit. And I will roll for this. And they fire the disruptors at you. Somebody roll me just a d20.
Go for it, Will.
I rolled a 7.
rolled a 7. So that you take a hit in the sensors. Your resistance is 4. It does 1, 2,
My
3, 4,
resistance
5.
5, actually, according to the sheet.
Oh yeah, your resistance is 5. So it hits. The destructors are vicious. So for each effect that I roll, I do an extra point of damage. So I rolled 4. So that ends up being 3 points of damage against your shields. So that will lower your shields by 3.
Shields are holding, Commander. Whenever they hit from those disruptors, we're in trouble.
Tactical, are you going to keep track of our shields?
Yes.
Okay.
Or
Can I just check in? Did that effort to attack them use our power?
Firing weapons does not consume power.
Oh, that's weird.
can I
It is weird.
suggest that
Oh, go ahead.
since I have the least mechanical stuff to worry about in terms of, running this battle, I will keep track of all our stats.
Okay. So who goes next, Commander Andala?
I would like engineering to go next. Internal systems control.
What are you doing, Commander Latal?
Latal bursts out of the turbo lift onto the bridge, kind of steaming. What is going on? There's chaos in engineering. How did this happen?
Lieutenant
looking at
Commander,
Commander Andala.
You are chief engineer, correct?
Yes, and damage control is ongoing.
We're in the middle of a battle. I'm not sure if you heard.
That's why I'm here. I'm heading to the operations console. And yeah, the team will undertake damage control on the engines.
Okay. So damage control is the difficulty is 3. You have your engineering team, so you get that extra d20. So you can roll 3 d20 at presence plus engineering.
Fine. So presence and engineering is 13, and I'd like to suggest that power systems would be a legitimate area of focus for this.
100%.
So anything less than 4 is a good thing. So I'm rolling 3 dice, and I'm going to spend a momentum, because if you don't use it, you die. And roll 4 dice. Here we go. 15, 13, 7, and 5. Damn. So that's 1, 2,
3 successes.
3 successes.
That is just enough for you to be able to get that. And what's the thing we see on screen of running around?
Oh, I think that, cut down to the engineering deck, and clearly there's stuff coming out of vents. There's people carrying wounded people, burned people out towards the sick bay. But the team is operating like the finely crafted tool that I have created.
Excellent. We will go. We will have the.
Quick question, Lowell. Am
Yes.
I 2 successes? Does that mean I'm restoring 1 or 2 to power?
No. It repairs the engines. Doesn't restore you the power, but that would be a power management one. So I'm going to go. And essentially, what is going on is that the lumbering thing begins to shift position to get ready to fire off later in the round. Who goes next, Commander Andala?
Helm, get us out of the way. Or, Helm goes next. You get to decide. But I don't like the look of that thing.
Certainly, sir. Taking evasive action now.
All right.
So, evasive action, daring and con. We have con of 3 and a daring of 7. So that gives us a 10. So I'm going to roll my 9 and 1. How many dice?
So you're going to
I've
roll
got my
2d20 for that, and then you can
Yep.
roll your ship's assist dice in an 11 or less.
Okay, well, let's see what we get. What a start. That's what we want.
So that is 0 successes. So you will find yourself trying to move to evasive action. And that is when the Romulans are going to sweep by on their action, and they are going to attempt. This is going to be a helm versus tractor beam thing as they try to push you towards the mouth of this thing. So what do you want to roll for that, helmsman? For trying to resist this push.
I think it's definitely con.
Okay.
So let's go for, I think it's control and con.
That seems reasonable.
Put a level head on it.
I've got 2 successes to push you towards the mouth of this thing so that you are the target when this thing fires.
Okay, I got 13. I'm going to spend a point of momentum.
Okay.
Let's do that off the main character sheet, not the other one. I don't know if they're linked. So 13. So let's pick those 2. Add another dice. Oh, that's not bad. I've rolled a 1.
So that's a critical, and you need 13s.
Nope. And the other 2 are above.
Okay, but that's 2 successes, so you tie. So that is enough to get you the resistance they needed to get the edge on that. Essentially, they kind of push on to reverse the polarity on the tractor beam. They're trying to push you on, but you're resisting that. So the target is going to be randomized rather than you being the target when this thing fires. Commander Andala, you've still got 2 rolls left to go.
Sensors. Let's see how where we can hit this running.
Yes, Commander. Bringing up a target for tactical to improve their efficiency, sir. And I'm gonna scan for weakness, I think.
Okay.
Which is control plus science difficulty 0.
Yep.
With ship's assist until next turn, reduce target's resistance by 2 per effect roll.
Yeah, and it's worth spending the momentum to buy an extra D20 on this.
Okay. Why?
Because when we go to do that, you're going to get to roll a challenge die and potentially reduce the resistance even more.
Oh, interesting. Then I will spend the momentum then.
Okay.
That gives me 3 dice, I believe.
That gives you 3 dice and then the ship's die. So roll your 3 dice and then we'll roll the ship's die at a 13 or less.
And his target is 8, 3, 11 plus the ship is 13.
So 11's for the first 3 D20s and then 13 for the last one.
First 3, 11. 13. Cool. Okay. Oh, wait, I have to select. Thank you. This is some things that I don't like about this thing.
Yeah, it does kind of lock you in. With the secondary characters, it does make it a little challenging.
Oh, that is what an array. That's 4 successes.
4 successes.
Develic's fingers fly over it, and he says, luckily don't worry, sir. I've been studying Romulan Warbirds during my off hours. They've got critical structural weaknesses here. If I focus the sensors, Starfleet Security teaches all of their prime candidates this.
So you're going to roll 5 challenge dice. And for each effect that you roll, you're going to reduce their resistance next time.
Okay. Here we go. That's just one effect, I think.
So just one. So the resistance goes from 4 down to a 2 on the next hit, and that lasts until you fire. Like after you've done the fire, then that will go away. But that is
Cool.
available. Let's the Romulan is. We'll save their last thing for that. Let's see. And the Doomsday machine fires at your ship. So that is that. So it's not going to do full effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it fires and just kind of clips the ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are going to suffer less your resistance, 1 point of shield damage, but this thing rolled an effect, and so it is going to cause a breach on your ship. Breaches are kind of things that will build up. These are like the big hits that at a certain point your ship starts to come apart when you take them. Somebody roll me a d20 so I know where that breach has occurred.
1.
1. So comms goes down, blows out. You no longer have communication with the away team as that, and it get that weird sound effect from the Doomsday weapon as it clips the shields on your ship. Until that is repaired, comms are down, and you suffered 1 breach. Commander Andala, your action, and then the Romulans.
I'm going to I take my action, but I'm going to direct tactical systems to hit those bastards again.
Perfect. And that is, in fact, the action that you can do. So you get to roll a d20 for your assist. And the firing action is based on control plus security. So Jaro, there is that quick command from Andala. What is that? What is that? Like, what's Andala's approach to this? Like, is it calm? Is it cool, collected? Is it angry? What are we seeing here?
I mean, I think it is like restrained fury. You know, she wants to curb stomp these Romulans.
Okay.
You know, and it's not often you get a chance to do it in the captain's chair when you're a commander. So, you know, relishing this imminent destruction of their enemies, if not us.
Perfect.
So once more with feeling,
yeah.
Lieutenant.
So Lieutenant Titata, you will take another fire weapon action.
Yep.
There's 3 momentum in the momentum pool. What?
I got a hit on my assist.
Excellent. So we got one hit already.
Do criticals count on the assists?
Yes.
Then you got a crit, I think, didn't you, Donor?
He rolled
got
1
2.
success. Rolled a 4, right?
Oh, sorry. I got out of the corner of my eye, I like a 1. Sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize.
I've had that too.
It did turn yellow for that instant initially, and then I went, no.
So, currently, I think I'm rolling 2d20, right?
2d20. Do you want to spend a momentum to roll another one?
I think I do.
Okay.
All right, and I don't know that Tatata has any special capabilities to do anything more at this time.
I don't think we set her with any focuses on that.
Sure. So I think we get this camera like zooming in on her as she basically presses one button.
There's a little bit
okay.
of movement, I imagine.
2 successes.
2 successes. So we got a total of 3 successes. The difficulty with the phasers is a 2, so you've got an extra momentum. So right now, do you want to spend the momentum on extra damage? Do you want to save it for reroll? What do you think? You could
Can I
even spend
consult?
it to resist their to reduce their resistance down to make it a 1 right now.
Hmm. Um. Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Reduce resistance.
Yeah. So roll me 7 challenge dice.
I think this is using that sensor information to its advantage. All right, let's go.
All right. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to get 2 momentum back into the momentum pool because of the versatile from the phaser. So that's 6. So they are going to suffer a breach. And then could you roll me 3d20? Oh, sorry, 3 of those challenge dice. I apologize.
Yeah. All right, here we go. All right.
So blank to Joker. So that's another 3 points. So their shields are down, and they have suffered a breach in their sensors. You've essentially, that first volley that you fired at the phasers took out their sensor array. You see that explosion go across there. The second hit hit their structural, the superstructure, but didn't cause a breach. But they're in bad shape. Their shields are down. They're going to have to spend their last action working on restoring shields. So we will do that. I will spend 3 threat from the threat pool.
And the lieutenant announces the obvious display of information as kind of like a rallying cry.
Very nice. So they're going to regenerate shields. It's difficulty 2. Ooh, that is not. Wow. They will restore 2 points of shields. That's all. And it looks like they're having issues with the shield controls. They're not going to be able to modulate those on the following round. That's the complication.
Great shot, Lieutenant. It looks like their shields are nearly blown out. They're struggling to get them back up again.
Tatata tries to look confident.
Excellent. We cut from there to the interior of the Doomsday Weapon, and we see the group of you. They're standing over at the back end of that settlement. There is a circular shaft that goes downwards, and that representative of these people are standing there with you, and they say, we have ropes and lines of a metal filament. We've gone down there before, but the atmosphere is so bad that we haven't explored it more, and there are things that move down in there. But kind of gestures to the lines that they've set up for you. We wish you the best of luck. You have promised us that you will not bring harm to our people if you can, and we will take you at your word on that, Carlton, the captain.
Indeed, you have my word. We will return successful.
All right. So this is kind of a repelling sort of athletics test here. And I think we don't need to have everybody roll this, and I think this is probably what we're going to do for some of these things is we're going to have one person kind of lead the action and someone else can assist. So who is the person who is doing the sort of the lines and the fitness? Is that you, Vate?
I'm just looking at my fitness and my daring. I think it would be ludicrous for Levate not to be. And we've already established that in Vate's off hours, he likes to do anachronistic extreme sports from 21st century Earth, right? Which must have included rock climbing. It's free climbing at some point, right?
Oh, perfect. Who is assisting Vate with this? Which character is going to be rolling the assist die?
It makes logical sense for the other security officer, doesn't it? because they're always first in, last out, if out.
Okay. So Tavalic, let's have you roll that daring.
Lee. This time.
Vate.
Yes.
We'll start with you. So you're rolling fitness plus security.
Okay, Lee, you're with me. And he starts to go over to these wires. And I think he pulls out from his the belt on his spacesuit, as like some monofilament, like Star Trek filament stuff to border it with. That is a 10 and a 9. That's a success. Two successes.
That's 3 successes. That is enough to lead all of them down without dealing any stress to you.
Nice.
What is...
I imagine that Vate goes down first, then Lee sees each one in turn down, and then follows up.
Yeah, I think that even Vate's even like, I'm going to go down, Lee, but it's your response. But I'm trusting you to make sure that they all come down after me safely, okay?
As if I wouldn't, she says charmingly.
Yeah.
So the group is climbing down these lines, making your way down. You have the rebreathers that you specify that you were bringing. That's kind of your equipment spend for this. You've got some lights with you, and you can definitely see as you lower yourselves down, this is clearly a worked tunnel downwards, smooth-sided. You suspect that there might be one of those levitating things like you saw before, but it's apparently either turned off or non-operational here. And you're definitely going down into a mist. Captain Carlton, what's the visual or the feeling or the sensation on your skin of this atmosphere when you get down towards the bottom of this?
I think it's sort of like greasy. All our suits are covered in some sort of moisture, but it's not water moisture.
Yeah,
it's some other substance.
It's kind of starting to get into the filters. You can feel it on the suits. It's almost like a graphite oil of some kind that is hazing in this atmosphere down here. There are several different corridors that go off from this in different directions. Captain?
Ward, what do you reckon is the best way to go?
Yes, I take out my tricorder. And maybe the first thing is, I'm not sure if it's our depth inside the structure, Captain, or if the Kintsugi has lost all communications, but I'm not getting any signal from them.
Or the Kintsugi is gone.
Lee is further up.
I'm not even going to mention that.
So Lee will check in and confirm we have no comms.
Right.
It's probably just the depth, Ward. Don't worry about it. It'll be there when we need it.
You're looking for a read from
that
the
control room,
presumably, not just a gut check.
Yeah.
So we also have Jaro kind of observing here. So maybe Jaro rolls the assist d20. This definitely feels like science. What do you feel is the attribute here, Ward?
I think reason seems. I'm trying to work out from whatever clues we have or trails what the best way to go is. Absolutely.
So a reason plus science. Let's have you roll your 2d20, Ward.
Okay. I have a feeling we might want to go in the right direction, so I'm gonna nab one from the momentum pool.
Okay, so roll 3d20.
Am I going to nab one? Sorry. Numlock has decided to not work. So I'm going to roll. That is can I count? Yes, I can. One success.
Just one success. Jaro, you're going to roll 1d20 with reason plus science. Did you get a success?
I missed it by 1.
Okay.
However, I have. We're not worried about danger right now, right?
I think you absolutely 110%
okay.
are.
Okay, then
You're in the bowels of an
nature.
enemy, a doomsday weapon, trying to find the controls. I think.
Well, for Jaro, she's
If,
like,
if
this
not
is
now, then when,
fascinating.
Jaro?
I can't. I'm so glad to be here. This is amazing. Okay, then I re-rolled and got a 3, which is a success.
So what'd you get? What'd you use? How'd you do the reroll?
I have suspicious by nature.
Oh, that's right. So
I'm a
2
mess.
successes. So I think there is a bit here where, as you all are making your way down, you'll find you're kind of trying to use the tricorder to find some energy sources and things like that. And I think at one point you do find a direction, and when you step in, there's some kind of gaseous disperse that comes out and sweeps over you briefly. And all of you in the away team are going to take 2 stress. But then after that clears and you've moved on, you will find yourself moving into a wider corridor. And you're moving along through here. And it definitely feels like you're getting closer towards the heart of this place. And I think as you are moving along here, making your way forward, there's a feeling of kind of motion. And you will see at the end of this great grand hallway, again, this is like double scale to humanoid size, to your size. You will see these doorways open, kind of split across, and then rise up kind of a little bit differently, like the iris. I'm using the term iris deliberately, Paul, that opens up there at the end. And you will see it fill with these shapes, and you will see these figures. There are a cadre of them. They are 10, 12 feet tall. They have no color to their bodies. They're made of metal or stone or something, and they have no face. Where there's a face, there is a hole, and there is a glowing energy in it that looks like the energy from the Doomsday machines. And we're going to take our first break here and come back. So let's take 10 and let Vate reset their laptop and everything. So we cut from that shot, these figures looming, the fight that is potentially coming for our landing party, no communications with the ship. We cut back up to the ship. We can see the energy trail off of the Romulans. Their sensors are down. They're not going to be able to cloak. The weapon is still kind of keeping you in the sights. And I think at the edges of the star system, you're picking up signs of that nebula coming. So Commander Andala, we start a fresh new round. The resistance of the Romulans have reset because they did take a hit and took the damage from that. But they do have a breach on their sensors, which means that they can't scan you for weaknesses.
And our comms are out.
Your comms are out.
So while I might be inclined to demand their surrender, Lieutenant Tatata, once more with feeling, please.
Aye, sir.
All right. So we've got 4 momentum in the momentum pool, right?
Yeah.
Can we use just a reminder, because I don't think any of us have used it yet. We've each got a use of that advantage, the determined crew.
Yes.
for whatever we do. So it'll lower the difficulty of whatever
Yeah.
we're doing. It's
So,
really
Lieutenant,
useful.
yeah, if you want to invoke that, Lieutenant Tatata,
Sure.
it'd be a difficulty of 1 for firing. So you roll 2d20, checking against your control and security, and then you've got an extra d20 from the ship's assist that's rolled at 10 or less.
Okay. So I got 1 success.
1 success. So that is enough. So you can roll me 7 of those challenge dice.
Okay. Okay.
Scroll back up to the top. So we've got, looks like 3 jokers. So that's 3 points, 7 points. So they're going to suffer another breach from this. And you're going to get another 2 momentum to put in the momentum pool. And you're going to roll me another 3d6 of those challenge dice.
Okay. Okay. Rolled.
All right. Oh, geez. So they're going to suffer 2 breaches. Can you roll me 2d20? Just flat 2d20.
I got an 11 and a 13.
Okay. So right now you can see that they have taken major breaches to the structure. Their superstructure is starting to give way. They are not dead yet, and they can still come back from this, but they are in a very bad place. Their shields go down to 0, and I think they have to spend their first action here doing shield restoration. So I will spend 1 for my threat pool, and I will roll my dice. Wow, mother puss bucket.
I think at this point, Tatata's like waiting for like the call for us to ask for surrender because they didn't blow up.
You have no comms.
I know, but it's kind of like she's not sure if like this is Starfleet-ish enough.
They will get their shields back up on their action, back up to 4 points, but that's it. And that's having spent the threat. Let's have the next action, Commander Andala.
We don't wait for the Doomsday guys to go first.
I had the Romulans go. I've been alternating.
Oh, okay, so it's,
so
okay, sorry.
it's you, enemy, one of the enemies, and then so on.
Okay.
Some sort of strange nebula thing coming into the area. I don't know what it is.
Well,
I would say, by the way, Donna, when I interject with that, I'm literally just saying, like, there is a bit of a fictional thing.
Yeah.
Free to make the mechanical choice however you wish, of course.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone, birds of prey, maybe, and let's maneuver around the back of the or enemy ship, and maybe we're in a better place to scan this nebula as well. So helm.
Do you want to try and do evasive action? And then you can spend a momentum to also move, or you could do one or the other. What would you like?
Yeah, let's, because that Doomsday, that's a big hit if that hits us. We've already taken a breach from it. So based on the commander's instructions, I'd like to maneuver the ship behind it.
Okay.
So let's try evading it.
Yeah, we'll spend a point of power from the impulse to move 2 zones behind.
Donna, you want that?
And then let's have you roll that evasive action.
Daring and con. So daring is 7, con of 3, giving me 10. Let's pick that and that. Let's spend a point of momentum as well, down to 3. 3 dice. Let's see what we get. Now that is pretty good.
3 successes on that. So on that evasive maneuvering, the difficulty is a 1, so you get 2 momentum. And you spend another power for the evasive action. So yeah, the difficulty to hit you is increased by 1, but also the difficulty to fire for a bit is increased by 1. What does that look like? Like, what do we see you doing on the helm?
I think after the last sort of failed attempt to do anything, it's like there's no power to the engines. There's no power to the engines, Captain. And then sort of a bit of rerouting. You see systems come online, and it's like Latal's done it. We now have power to the engines, and that Backman Turner overdrive, full power, as we swoop round the back of this Doomsday machine.
Okay. All right. These Romulans are going to have to take a fire at you. And they are powering up plasma torpedoes. And they will launch that off. So that is a higher difficulty. I will spend another point of threat. So 3, 4. I'm rolling 40, 20. Not even. They will fire a salvo of plasma torpedoes. We get that Star Trek thing where we see them coming, and then they explode by you. But you get out of the blast radius. These things are nasty because they're sticky. Like when they hit you, they damage you, and then they continue to damage you. So there is that shaking of the ship as the wake of this plasma torpedo goes off. That's 2 of the 3 Romulan actions. Back to you, Andala.
Nice work, Farga. Let's see if we can't get ourselves in a bit more ship shape. Commander Latal.
I want to get comms back because I think we owe the landing party some support. But I'm looking at damage control. It says, but does not remove a breach. So that those comms are out and out.
It repairs the effect, but it doesn't remove the breach for purposes of your ship falling apart.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many breaches does it take?
It takes 5 breaches to blow your ship to pieces.
Okay, then we'll regenerate shields instead.
Yeah.
Then
you've only got 1. A second one that does some serious damage.
So let me think.
So regenerate shields or repairing the comms.
I think regenerate shields because shields are at 40%, Captain. So that is control engineering. And I get another dice for the engineering team.
You can either use the ship's assist or you can use your engineering team. Your engineering team is read against your skill.
And hang on, let me just check. That's compared to the ship at 13. I will go with the engineering team at 14 then. So 3d6 versus 14. And
do you have shields as a focus?
No, I don't. But I will spend momentum.
Okay.
To get us up to 4 dice.
4d20.
What could go wrong? I don't think there is anything I can throw at this. No. There we go. 6, 8, 12, and a 20. So 3 successes and a 20.
Okay. So if you spend for one of those successes gets you 2 shields back. And if you want, you can spend 1 or both of those momentums to get another 2 back each.
Yes.
Okay.
That should take us back up to 100%.
So you receive the field back up. But I do think that that's burnt out some of the shield systems. And until some action is taken, you're not going to be able to modulate the shields again. Does that sound reasonable for a complication?
It does.
Okay. Let's roll to see. Still trying to track you. Very slowly and not very well, you will see the swing about of the Doomsday weapon, though it doesn't make it all the way around to where you're at, as it does a kind of a lumbering turn to bring that up, and I have to use the other option on it next time. Then, back to you, Andala.
Sensors.
Lieutenant Commander, if it's following us, can we lead it away from the planet?
Well, let's keep that in our back pocket, Lital.
Can we
There's another
can we
entity.
get it? Can we get it so that it's chasing something else?
Well,
should
Like the
I?
other ship.
I was going to do a information about this other nebula thing, because I don't think we actually know anything about it. I think the only
Absolutely.
person who does is Lieutenant Vate down on the planet, who has communicated away from him, but you've got no comms. So, yeah,
that seems like a fair thing to do. Difficulty 1. You've got the ship sensors dice.
Yes. So 11 for me again, and I think 13 for the ship.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Difficulty of 1, right?
Difficulty of 1 to get a first question, and then you can spend extra momentum for further questions.
Well, I will invoke the determined and focused crew as Civilik, punches, gets on the internal comms and punches it through to his fellow science team downstairs and says, "I'm feeding you a new relay information. I need all eyes on this." And let's roll that dice then. So, I mean, I should with 3 dice succeed. But we've got 4 momentum, so I'm going to spend another momentum.
Okay.
Oof. That's terrible. That's 4 misses.
Sorry, I didn't see it come through. Oh, here it is. Okay. That is that is 4 misses.
Yeah, and I don't think supporting characters have determination, do they?
Yes, they have 1 point of determination.
Spend
your determination.
Yeah, good, yeah.
But now you have to tell me what a value statement. What's Civilik's value statement that he's grasping onto?
Well, that he wishes that he was in security, that he wishes that he knew to identify threats and everything, like this is his time to shine. Like security is all about offering the
it's my time.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, spend that determination and make that reroll.
Okay. That's better. That's all successes, including a crit. So
okay. So we got 5 successes. So what's your first question?
The ship's assist would be 14. So yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference that first roll. The first question is, what is this strange nebula type entity that has been moving through space and has now arrived?
It certainly, at first blush, has the sort of readings of a nebula, but it's significantly smaller. But you'll be able to tell at this range that is some kind of weird unknown energy field surrounding some kind of crystalline structure inside of it that is large, that seems like another alien weapon.
Out of character.
No,
the crystalline entity?
No, but it's not. But it's a little bit like that.
Okay, cool. And yeah, for a second question, it's like it's some kind of field around a ship, Commander. Scanning for life forms.
Second question, scanning for life forms. You will pick up that there is a life form aboard that ship. It definitely, but only a single one. And it doesn't seem to be the entity itself doesn't register as a life form, but there's definitely someone there and controlling it.
one life form inside. And it's got 5 successes. I've used 2 questions.
Yep.
Right.
What's its heading, Tvilic? Where is the planet at risk?
Just scanning for that now. No.
Third question. It is definitely heading towards the Doomsday Weapon, but definitely making sure that the colony planet is between it. Like it is definitely going to pass over that colony world.
So the crystal entity is going to pass over the colony world first. Is that right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. It's coming straight for the super weapon, sir, but it's going to pass over the colony first. Okay. That's 2 more points left. I could put it back in momentum, or right. What can I find out about its energy field, its capabilities, that kind, like what is its method of hostility, I suppose. This new, because we know about the Doomsday machine because the Enterprise encountered it.
So this is an energy eater. Like that's its primary thing. It's an energy vampire. And you think that actually like it's probably going to like drain the energy off the planet and then come for the energy that is inside that Doomsday machine.
Do we know anything about the tech level of that civilization?
It's a Betazoid colony.
Yeah, it's a Betazoid colony.
But billions, millions,
10,000.
So a single settlement.
A single large, well, there's a large settlement, and then there's probably satellite settlements around.
If we broadcast enough energy, we might be able to attract it to us rather than the planet.
I think it's being piloted, so that there's no. It would be going for the Doomsday engine. The Doomsday engine is the biggest energy signature in the system. It's not being drawn immediately to the largest source.
So if we could move the Doomsday weapon, it might miss the planet.
We could get it in between the planet, the Doomsday weapon, in between the colony and this thing, maybe.
I'm just looking at your scans, Tvilic. That what we need to do is to move. If we move the Doomsday weapon towards the Romulan, if we can lead it in that direction, then the nebula might miss the planet on its way to the Doomsday machine.
I see what you mean, sir. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I think my last question, is more about the colony itself. Would they? I believe, from what I remember, what you said about the colony, they'd be in some severe trouble if they lost all power, right? Like they would not be.
They don't have a ship. They have like light service travel. They don't even have like an orbital a shuttle there.
And they only have and they need some form of life support, I think, right?
Yep.
They're not going to be like we're on our bucolic paradise worlds and we lost power forever. Okay.
Them turning off all the lights is not going to be enough.
Yeah. Well, he looks and he says, if that thing passes through the colony, they're not even going to have redundant powers for the oxygen scrubbers. And yeah, that's my 5 questions. Yeah.
The Doomsday weapon will expand its field of energy drain, and it will drain you of 2 power on its action. And we're back to you then, Andala.
Helm, get us as close as possible as you can to that Romulan ship. I think we're going to use Tvilic and Latal's plan to drag these 2 machines together away from the colony.
So you're going to give
aye, sir. Coming about.
Helm an extra action. What is it that you want to do? So you can spend 1 power with impulse to move 2 zones, or you can spend X power to move X zones with essentially light warp power.
I think we need to go. I think we only need to go 2 zones, or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Let's go 3.
Okay.
Let's spend 3 power.
Okay. So go ahead and move yourself 3 zones. There's not a roll for that. And we will see you launch yourself past with a Doomsday Weapon and are following up onto the Romulan there. So spend 3 power, which means that
Donna, you on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
And the Romulans, they've already fired. Let's see. I think they're going to do evasive. So yeah, we'll do that. So you'll see the Romulans taking evasive maneuvers right now. I believe, is that everybody from your side? I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do these icons move? Sorry, on the Google drawings.
They do.
Yeah,
They
you can
do.
move. Yeah.
Cool. Where should we move?
And in fact, they have.
They have been moving.
Due to connection things, I've not been able to see.
Oh,
this,
okay.
So, yeah, sorry.
So let's cut with that plan starting out. Let's cut back down to the tunnels with these figures coming forward. Captain Carlton. They definitely are hostile in appearance. They're sort of powering up weapons and coming forward.
Hold your nerve, team. Hold your nerve. We've got to give diplomacy at least 1 try. So let's go with a bit of "we come in peace."
Cut to Adira Lee, whose eyebrow goes up.
Yeah, well,
I think Jaro is all for supporting these efforts too.
let's hail. We come in peace.
Captain, you are obeying the prime directive of your position, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to give you the point of determination that you so richly deserve for going for that option, because I do think there is that moment of you raising your hand at hail, and then one of them you'll see, and it fires at that beam that
As my hand melts.
No, hits at your feet, knocks you backwards there. Does that seem like a fair trade-off?
That definitely seems. Yeah, you got to try it. It's Star Trek.
Absolutely. No, that's why I gave you determination.
That I agree. I think that was great.
So Jaro, I think you were next closest. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not in immediate danger of being disintegrated.
Well, there are 4 of these things coming with big particle beam blasters. Yeah.
Are there other control systems in this room, or what
Does that seem like? So that's what you're looking for.
Jaro's looking for a way to potentially seize control of the ship or nullify these 4 through some control system.
Okay. Why don't you? That seems to me to be insight plus science.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And let's give that a go. I got 2 successes.
2 successes. So I think what you will realize is that these things are autonomous, but you can see that past them, like there's definitely like a control center. Like that's the reason they're here, is that they're like past them is this control center, nerve center, maybe even the piloting thing for this. But you're going to need to get past them. Does that seem like a fair?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jaro yells to the crew, like, controls seem to be over there. That's, trying to help make sure the captain's out of the way, and then let the security probably take the lead.
Lieutenant Vate.
So there's 4 or 5 of these or something, isn't
4
there?
of them. Yeah.
4 of them. I think Vate is going to charge past the captain, like probably like shouldering him aside, and like basically just like stand, as it's got that beam firing, he's gonna fire the phaser like directly into that eye.
You mean the phaser rifle, right? Because I remember you brought one
Phaser
of those.
rifle. Yes, I couldn't remember if it was this mission I'd brought it on.
Yeah. All right. So that is daring plus security.
Daring plus security. What's the difficulty low?
Difficulty is 1 to hit them.
Just 1 to hit them. I will, but we've got a lot of lovely momentum, so I will spend my momentum.
Okay.
4 successes.
So right now you've got 4 successes. So you've got 3 momentum on this, which you could spend to add extra dice of damage if you wanted to. What is the normal damage for the phaser rifle?
Phaser rifle is. Oof. I hate the equipment list in this book. Armor and protective gear. Phasers. Phaser is phaser type 3. So that is a accurate charge escalation to 4. 4 is. So 4 challenge dice, is that right?
Let me check that and make sure that that's right.
Yeah, it says 4 damage rating. Phaser type 2 is 3. Phaser type 1 is 2.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and have you make that roll. Do you want to put the rest of those dice momentum into damage?
I have 3 momentum left. Let's put 2 of them in, and then let's give 1 back, the one that I spent back to.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
3 jokers and
3
4
jokers. Let me quickly look up and see what that effect is for that
charge.
Let's see here.
I need to do the prepare
adaptable energy. Oh yeah, so you could have. Do you want to have chosen one of the minor, one of those damage effects?
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah.
I'll do the vicious. What would that do? Vicious would add more damage for these.
So every joker adds 1 damage. Piercing reduces their damage resistance.
I think piercing would be the most appropriate one, given that I fired it directly into it. So that was a narration of it, right? The preparation was a 2, 3, into the guy's face.
5, 6, 7. So their armor is a lot of what protects them, and you will fire that off into that even as it's charging up, and you will explode the mechanical head off of this thing, and that first one will crash to the ground. Now you have the ability to fire again.
I do. I was going to say, can I spend the momentum to do the swift task? Do I need to spend 2 for that?
2 momentum, and you can take another shot.
Yeah, and then I think he drops to 1 knee as it goes crashing, like toppling forward, like nearly clipping him, and he leans and fires up at another one. So that's back to 2 dice. I won't spend all the momentum on this one. I'll just do. I don't get any extra difficulty, do I, for doing this? No.
No.
That's 2 successes.
That is 2 successes. So you get an extra momentum here. So you can roll 5 dice damage if you want.
I'll do that. That is 3 and 2 jokers, and I will spend one of those jokers. 2. If that still applies to my charge,
it automatically happens. Yeah. So it will eliminate their armor, and then it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that second one, like, you don't just destroy the head, but it definitely, its sensor system is lost. The energy controls the conduit that's in it starts spraying out, and it staggers over towards the wall.
That sort of like that McClessing beam that was coming out of its eye turns into like Kirby Crackle as it comes out.
Absolutely, yes. 100%. Lee.
Security do as security does. I will follow my security chief into battle and confront another one of them.
Okay. So you also have a rifle. Are you also going to make it piercing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So hang on. That
Difficulty is a 1.
Okay. And this is, I can't remember, it's fitness and security or daring and security?
Daring and security.
Yeah, so that's 12. I don't suppose hand phaser as a focus will make a difference for the rifle.
No.
But only one. No, I dare not spend that. Okay.
Hey, you should spend it because I mean, then like if you're out, you can always get more back by giving me threat.
I'm convinced. So I'll roll 3 dice, and we are looking at 13. 3, 7, and 20.
Okay.
So 2 successes, and a complication.
So you can roll 6 dice for damage.
Okay, here we go. That is 3 by the look of it.
So you will do you want to spend your determination to reroll that damage?
Yes. But that will require me to
tell us what Lee's value is.
Yeah, I think the value is friends before self.
Oh, nice.
There we go. That's for the records. And reroll. Well, that's 2, 7, and 17. So
you could reroll the damage if you wanted to.
Oh, sorry, the damage. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, either one. I'm good with either one.
Yeah. No, I'll reroll the damage and keep the complication.
Yeah. So now you can keep the 1. Yeah. Okay. So we got the jokers. The jokers will do a point each, plus the 1 damage. But the most important thing is that kind of wipes away their armor. And this third one, the one that you hit, definitely staggers back. It's crippled. Its weapons thing's crippled, so it's going to have to potentially try to grab, bear hug you. But it's badly damaged. However, you will hear the whine as your phaser rifle overloads.
I wondered if you might conceive of a complication, which is under stress, the nanites begin to exhibit some vaguely Borg-like functioning.
So we start to see that sort of the black marks on the skin, the tendrils and things like that. Okay. Let's make a clock to this though.
Fine by me.
Mark 3 stress.
Job's a good one.
Do the others notice? Are you hiding this? The camera will notice, but do the others see this?
I'm not sure I notice yet.
Oh, okay, perfect. Ward, you are last in this round. There's 1 still going, and there's 1 that is moving forward to like try to grapple.
Okay, well, if I were in a different sci-fi franchise, I might say, "Get away from her, you bleep." But I will. Get this security thing off Lee, and no grappling. Thank you very much.
Okay. So you probably have a phaser type 2.
A bog standard phaser.
Okay.
So I guess it's just daring security, right?
It is.
And we got 1 momentum.
Yep.
We might want to save that for the science bit.
And I'll assume,
or hell, let's spend it.
I assume you turn it up to the lethal to do the charge to the piercing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me roll that. That is 2 successes.
That's 2 successes. So you can roll box standard phaser type 2 is 3 dice. So if you want to spend that momentum, that'll be 4 dice.
Okay, let's go first. So that is 7 and an effect.
Oh my God. So what does that look like when you absolutely drop this thing?
I mean, I think the beam hits it, and maybe it kind of turns it from its attack run, and I just, keep advancing, keep holding the button down. Maybe this isn't good for its long-term usefulness, but it's kind of a point-blank walk until it just you know disintegrates essentially on the floor.
Absolutely. Yeah, the most in the versus the minor versus major, like minor actions are like I take a time to aim or I move, it's a quick action from other games kind of thing. So you will blast that. This last one is up and is still moving, and I think you'll see it turn to you, Vate, because you fired off that huge blast. It looks at you, it starts to power up, and then it stops and it turns and it fires at Ward. So that is 2 successes. So Ward, you get clipped by this energy beam for 6 points of damage. And you are thrown backwards. You are launched backwards by the force of it, come skittering across the floor there when you land.
Sounds like an injury.
Yes. Do we have any momentum in the momentum pool?
We're at 0.
So you can't avoid the injury. What happens? Like where
Hoist
do
on
you
my
get
own
hurt?
petard, right?
Yeah. Is it arm, leg, body? Like where do we think you see that wound?
I think maybe it's I think it's an arm, and we kind of get this. We can definitely get a sense of like a dislocation, but also like tearing, and maybe in more than one joint. So it's kind of
nice. We cut back up to the Kintsugi. Commander Andala, who goes first on this round? You're tight on power, and you want to get moving. Just to remind you of that, you've got your shields at full, which is nice.
Yeah,
the engines may not take it, Captain.
Yeah, well, the engineers back at base can be bought a drink by you for pushing them too hard, Latal.
I guess I attempt power management.
Okay. Control plus engineering.
Yeah, I think so. And I can get another one for the engineering crew.
Yes.
Then we got nothing in, no gas in the tank for momentum. Roll the dice.
Hey, it could give me a threat. Oh, 3 successes.
No. 3 successes.
So that will get you 2 plus you spend the momentum for another one is another 2. So 4 power back.
Okay, I leave that to
what does that look
Commander
like?
Andala.
Like what do we see you doing?
I think it's Latal working the panel like buggery, and then hitting the chest saying, "Engineering, transfer power via panel 3 to conduit 5. No, 5."
Excellent. This thing spends its action to make that full turn to come in pursuit. That's the first action of the 2 of the Doomsday Weapon. Commander Andala, who goes next?
Helm, let's nurse our power a little bit, but we can afford to make some knots.
You're muted. You're still muted.
Attack sequence Delta, Captain, or evasive maneuvering?
Our first objective right now has shifted from this Romulan ship and towards getting these Doomsday devices away from the planet. So flank speed, if you will.
Aye, aye, sir. Warp speed.
No.
Let's
Let's save our power, maybe. Well, you get to decide. You get to decide.
okay. Let's spend 1 power.
Okay.
Connor, you're on that. And let's actually leapfrog. So we're going to move 2 zones.
Okay.
So I'm going to leapfrog that bird of prey.
All right. In that case, yep, that does put the Romulan in attack range. Let's see. All discounted. So as you leapfrog over the Romulan, you see the Romulan ship kind of desperately turning, and then there's that, and we see the Doomsday weapon fire out that beam of anti-proton energy, and it envelops the Romulan ship, and you will see it explode, and it is gone. Nothing but vapor and memory now.
No survivors, Captain.
So we're kind of out of a combat phase. So let's move to a little more like, okay, how are we going to do this? What's our plan kind of approach? And then we'll cut back down to the planet. How does that sound? Gondola, you're still in charge. So what are you setting your people to do here? What's the trick? What's the gambit? What's the thing you want to have happen?
I mean, I think I've got to scan for survivors, even though there's almost no hope, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think you will you can do a sensor sweep, and I think that there's nothing left of that ship.
Fonda,
Thoughts, Commander?
if we could get a sense of the energy profile of the Planet Eater, it might be possible to synchronize the primary spatial field equalizer to emit a pulse with a similar profile in the hope of attracting that nebula towards us and away from the planet. Then if we're lucky, the Planet Eater follows us and the nebula follows us.
That assumes an instinctual. I point out the instinctual versus piloted thing.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Alternatively, what do you think the possibilities are of the reverse? If we made like a nebula, would this Doomsday, the first Doomsday device, follow us more keenly?
I think if we fired the torpedoes at the Doomsday device, I think it would follow us. It seemed pretty hostile before, sir.
If we could be assured that they wouldn't bring a civilization or our crew to any harm, I would definitely do that, Ensign. But let's not and say we did.
He'll zoom in and then he'll zoom out and zoom out and zoom out to show where the crew and the things are on the Doomsday device. And maybe punch up a few areas where we could try that, you know? I mean, is it following us now even, you know?
It is pursuing, yes.
Yeah. Perhaps if we can keep its attention, so we can follow the Final Latal's plan, and we can maybe come around here, and he, you know, draws the angle on the view pad, sending it to the main screen, and hopefully like a triangulation point where the nebula is coming for the Doomsday device. It'll come this way rather than through the colony. That's assuming that the pilot doesn't want to kill the colony for their own purposes.
plug your firing solution into tactical, and let's see if we can throw this thing a few crumbs, make it follow us.
So we've got a tactical thing, we've got a maneuvering thing. What are you doing during this, Latal? Are you restoring communications? Are you doing something else? Are you repairing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think comms now, given the absence of the Romulan, and we've got a little bit of breathing space from the device, I think it's trying to get comms back online.
Okay, so let's start with you. Difficulty 2.
Okay. Again, the engineering crew will give me a third dice, and this is presence plus engineering, so 13 and power systems. No, that won't work, will it?
No.
You could use the advantage.
Yeah, you haven't used that, so you can reduce that to difficulty 1.
Fine. Determined and focused crew. No, I do transporters, not comms. Though some would argue that transporters is a variety of comms.
Would they?
So 3 dice with the crew, and difficulties reduced by 1 for the advantage. Yeah.
Yep. Difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Oh, 2 becomes 2 successes. I did an 11, so it's 3 successes, and a 19 isn't terrible.
Okay. You did have a focus?
I didn't have a focus. I beg your pardon. 2 successes.
2 successes. So you will get it repaired, and you will get a momentum and put in momentum pool if you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Tatada, what are you doing? Are you working with Villic to get this firing thing together? Does that seem like a reasonable action?
That seems like what's going on. Yep.
Are you letting Tavalic take the lead and you're helping? What's your what's your manner here? I'm really curious.
Gosh, I think that she's mostly concerned with performing well on the bridge. She's done so far, so she's still trying to ride that success, and I kind of see her as someone who wants to help the other crew members shine as well. So I think like leaning in to help shine the spotlight on this other person is probably going to happen some.
So let's give you, this seems like we haven't chosen a talent for her. I think we're going to give her the talent that when she helps someone, they can re-roll. So you get to roll a d20 for yourself, and then Tavalic, let's have you roll reason plus security.
Yes, that sounds appropriate. His 2 biggest strengths. Tavalic is finally, this is really, Tavalic is like so happy. He's firing, and he's like, in the simulations I've run for these torpedo firing algorithms, I get efficiency gains of somewhere between 0.5 and 0.10%. And he's going to be punching. I can't wait to get a chance to use them for real. So that gives him a 13, I think.
Okay. You're going to get a reroll.
Cool.
I get it. I rolled a success.
Okay, so 1 success plus.
What's the difficulty? Is there any difficulty?
I think the difficulty is going to be a 2 on this. So you've already got 1 of them done.
Okay. I'm going to give you some threat level.
Or do you want to invoke have you invoked the aspect already?
I have, yes, I have invoked the advantage already.
All right. So give me 1 threat.
Yeah, I'll give you 1 threat. Yeah.
Okay, so that gives you an extra die.
It's 2 successes.
2 successes. So you have got this firing arc planned, essentially to kind of fire these torpedoes off so they skirt by or hit against the neutronium, such that it continues to draw this attention, like you are continuing to lay down that field behind you.
I think maybe like the map as well sort of shows like the projected lines of all of our projectiles and the predicted firing arc of the Doomsday engine, and like how we can maintain our good firing profile whilst flying away into the right location, right? Like it's all projected. And he goes,
absolutely. Farga, I think Absolutely, Fargo. You've got these lines up from Tavalic and Tatata. Now it's all up to you to get this fly in there in the right place to kind of peel away this thing.
Punching it now, Captain. Okay, so this very much sounds like control and con.
Yeah, I like that.
So 13. Let's find 13 in some skills. Yep. We've got nothing in the momentum pool. Hey, let's punch it. Yes, an 8 and a 6. Get in there.
So you are flying in, moving in, and the thing is behind you, coming up behind you. And I think as that is happening, as you move up on it, this nebula shifts its maneuver away from the planet to get closer to that doomsday weapon, and you will see it start to drain the energy out of the weapon. It starts pulling that anti-protons into its energy field. We're going to cut back in just a moment to the crew on the ship in the control area. Let's take a quick bio break and we'll return back at that scene. Okay. I think that's what we're out to. Yeah. Lost a little bit of that, but the pilot's console, sort of a short battle here as Jaro attempts to climb into the pilot seat of this thing. It's a one-way ticket. Lee has stopped her, and right now we're in the midst of a conversation between Lee and Ward.
Look, Astrid. The assimilation is proceeding. Okay. The doctor was very subtle about his communication to me, but look, I'm not going back to the ship. And the hull of this thing will isolate me from the collective. I can sit in here, become part of the machine. You know, there's no other solution here, Astrid.
And I imagine this is as the two of you are moving forward towards the pilot thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So is it
Okay, let me get Ward.
Lee...
Let me get Astrid's response, and then I'm going to come to you, Jaro, and then I need to cut back to the others. So, Ward, what's your response?
well, I think if that's your assessment, then I think you should be thinking of where you can point this thing, where it will be completely destroyed, not prone to discovery by the Borg in the upcoming century.
There is a civilization here. I can steer it off. They've survived for, generations. I can lose us in deep space.
I'd like to say that you've moved up close enough that Jaro, as you kind of have like shaking off this weirdness, and in Star Trek dramatic fashion, I think you realize like what is the exchange, what is the dynamic that's going on. So what do you say?
I think given the situation and not having any more information, right? I think Jaro collectively says, I think that Ensign Lee has made the best choice available for all of us in this system. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that this transition goes as smoothly as possible. Ensign Lee, would you accept the possibility of taking on visitors in the future?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
When
No one knows here. The hope is that we can steer the ship away from the current crisis and do our best as members of Starfleet and for everyone out there counting on us. So Jaro looks completely prepared to help medically, technologically, whatever that is, to help this transition happen.
So I do think as that kind of scene of the three of you ends, the containment thing is open. Let's cut back to Vate, this dagger having worked on this thing. Carlton, you buy them. Do we want to do the discussion between the two of you, or are you seeing and kind of now realizing what's going on with the pilots?
What the hell's going on up there, Vate?
It's deactivated, sir. I think that, and I'll hold up the blade to the creature, and I'll say, you should stop whatever's going on, sir. I'll take care of this.
Definitely, they seem to be linked to that blade, wherever the hell you got it from.
It's no longer hostile, right? Like, it's just standing.
Seems to be.
Yeah. I'll lead, I think, the captain around it slowly as I put myself in between, and I just look at him and I say, that maniac Ventos, she was right. She knows more about this than this must be the people who made these. She said there was more of them out there. These are the keys to controlling at least some of this technology.
Do you want to try
we need to hunt her down then?
Do you want to try and connect this key to the ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's have you roll. What do you think is appropriate for you to do that?
I mean, I would say normally it would be like reason, but I would say that actually maybe I'm using the psychometry feature here, since I'm using the MacGuffin's sort of home.
Yeah.
So insight 9, probably still science or engineering, I would say.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
That's 11. I'll spend one of those momentum.
Okay.
Oh, that's not great.
That
only
is one success.
I will spend my determination
Sure.
to re-roll that.
You can re-roll the 2 fails. You can keep the 1 success if you want.
I would love that, yes. I am invoking the galaxy is haunted.
Okay. Nice.
That's another success.
So I think you will feel this knife. It's like turning the key in an engine when you connect up. And I think you will see around us, like, it's dim in here. It's quite like, I think we see the lighting change. And I think we see everything around start to illuminate. Like the gas that's been in here, kind of oily, kind of starts to pull away. And I think it becomes bright and light as this ship has been for centuries in standby mode, even, as a programmed attack thing, and you will wake up all of its functions. And I think that it is that awoken ship that you will feel, Ensign Lee, as you connect into this thing, as you connect up with it, as you feel the ship attach and connect, and your consciousness kind of goes out. I think around you, you all will start to see view screens of the area outside. You will see that nebula thing drawing the energy off from this, drawing the power away. Lee, you could easily fire with full capacity and destroy that entity, or you could move away from this thing and try and flee with this thing chasing you.
I think it's flee with this thing chasing you, and I think as Adira settles into this seat, which may not be built for her, she relaxes, stops, her body stops fighting the nanites, and we'll see those little kind of connectors begin to burrow into the machinery. so that I connect, I assimilate it.
Yeah, and I think that Jaro has done that work on the Borg nanites. So this said that in the chat. I think that they are able to help you hook into this thing to get up to 100%. And Captain, you'll see this. You see that Lee has command of this thing.
Captain, the doctor said that what happened to me was up to me. But what do you think I should do now?
Our original mission. Let's save the lives of these colonists. Get away from here. Draw that thing away and then deal with it once and for all when you're in open space. Destroy the nebula if you can.
Thank you, Captain.
We're going to get back to the ship, but we'll see you again at some stage, I'm sure.
Perhaps so.
No,
Take care.
There is a montage of you heading back up to the shuttle. I think, Vate, you can feel the rage from her on that weapon, because now as this thing turns and starts to flee, she doesn't have control of that thing anymore. That nebula is set to chase this thing, and she's trying to stop it. She's trying to pull it away. She's trying to get it to thing, but you will hear that screaming in her mind as she does it. She's not going to be able to catch up with it, and she is trapped in pursuit of it. What do you say back to her? I mean, that the lines are open here, for this few moments here before she is dragged away.
Don't worry, we'll find you.
Nice. And there is a scream of sort of lost terror as it vanishes off into the void. I think we will see on the view screens that sort of last transmissions. We're back on the ship. Commander Captain Carlton, you're talking with the leader of the colonists. They have communications now, and they saying, we will keep you updated on our passage, but we will stay here and we'll make sure that your pilot survives. And we hopefully will see you again.
Of course. And if there's anything you need, reach out to us. Or if anything changes, let us know, and we'll be here as soon as we can.
Thank you. You have woken the ship up, and there is so much more here than we had before.
Hopefully it provides a good base for your species.
And we'll do the gesture and out. Let's do that end of episode set of scenes here. Not exactly an epilogue, but it's the end of episode. Like a big thing has happened. There has been a big change. That we see as we move the camera through the corridors. There are people doing repairs. The breach is being fixed. The Kintsugi held together in its first one-on-one space combat. Jaro, what scene do you want to call here in the end to round out this episode?
I have one for like a minor one for Tatata, if you wouldn't mind me.
Absolutely, yeah. Please feel free, yeah.
So I think she's feeling better a little bit. I think what we see, and this might be in the background as the other characters are doing their thing, is I think she goes over to Ensign Vilek. Is that how you say his name?
Vilek, yeah.
Yeah, and invites him for a drink, to just go have a drink and get to know him better and to talk about his future and just just kind of celebrate.
Pavilic? Like, what's your reaction to that in that scene when we see you there?
Civic, I apologize. I was momentarily distracted by a text message. That was just
Okay.
one of those moments where I
Yes.
was completely caught off guard. I really
Okay.
apologize.
That's okay.
What happened? I apologize.
Yeah, so Tatada goes over to Philip and asks him to go out, get a drink, right? And kind of
Yes.
talk about things and celebrate their success. And
yeah, Tavilic's
just
more than up for it. Tavilic is like, yeah, sure, Lieutenant. Yeah. I've been meaning to speak to you actually. Could you put in a good word for me? Yeah,
Nice.
and he'll
to
walk off
whom?
with you.
Yeah, to whom?
Well, you need a senior officer. You need an officer of a higher grade to sign requests to move departments. And every other, I've asked every other officer, and they said that no.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely consider it. Let's go have that drink.
Nice. So Jaro, what do you then want for your scene here?
Mm-hmm. I think Jaro is really glad that they didn't have to actually use her projects of destroying things. It's definitely like the mom side of her life. And I think what she ultimately does is she gets out of her lab and she goes to find Ward, Junior Lieutenant Ward, right? And wants to just offer her condolences. Basically be there to listen, to be there not as a friend necessarily because they're not that close, but to just be there as someone who understands that that was a very difficult situation.
Ward, what do you think your reaction is to this offer?
Yeah, especially given like how before, Jaro may have come across as like, oh, this Lee is this lab experiment for me.
I think Ward is in the graveyard, sitting on a window seat alone. Her arm is in a sling because there's probably still some required rest to heal up properly. And I mean, I think you kind of see a suppressed snarl, right, when she recognizes you. Um, uh, Petty officer, um, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Well, I'm on light duty for the foreseeable. Daily check-ins down in medbay, but the good doctor says I'll be back up by next week.
Good, good. And I think Jaro kind of goes over, so she's kind of looking at. You said there was a window there. Yeah, so she does the thing where she's talking to Ward, but talking at the space, and says, I didn't know Vincent Lee very well. Seemed like a great member of Starfleet, but I have lost some people, and from the conflict, Bajor and Cardassia. If you ever want to talk about anything, I'll be in my lab or somewhere else.
I mean,
And if
Jaro,
you ever,
no, go ahead.
yeah, and if you ever need additional people to come to a poker game, I'm also available.
I mean, we've all lost people. We're not in. No one on this ship has not lost people.
Like, do we see you accept or kind of reject the offer? Like that's the crucial point here. It like in terms of the reaction, what do we see, Ward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is like a an acceptance of the offer, but that's not immediate.
Okay.
It's not. Uh, at least maybe to someone who knows Ward better, they would infer that correctly, but maybe Jaro doesn't quite. The penny doesn't drop for her quite as quickly.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think it's just left like kind of tenuous.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the final word, when Jaro is leaving is tomorrow night. My quarters at 8. If your shifts allow it, I'll deal you in.
Nice.
I don't know what the buy-in is, given that it's the Federation, but
I think Jaro sort of just nods silently, says, "I'll be there."
Latal. What do we want as this this final scene in this episode with you?
I think I'd like a meeting with Captain Carlton.
Okay.
Captain, much as I've enjoyed my time aboard Kintsugi, I understand that Captain Zinette is seeking a chief engineer. I think it would do me good to experience different models of command.
You're muted.
Totally. Now that you've seen how it works on the Kintsugi, I think you should definitely experience some other styles of command, and I'll be more than happy to sign that transfer paperwork.
Thank you, Captain. I will try to ensure it's in swiftly and correctly completed.
I'd have it no other way from you, Lental.
Yes.
Nice. Lieutenant Vate.
I think it's Vate sat at a comms terminal and punching in those codes. And up on the screen flicks through images of all of the murals that were inside the Doomsday engine that we took before we left on Doomsday machine, sorry, including the one of the Borg cubes highlighted. Like all of the diagrams to send it across to Starfleet with inscrutable writing written across near it. And it's going to say, Agent 359's report. The entity encountered by the Enterprise and now by the Kintsugi has also encountered the Borg. The Romulans know that this engine's out there, but they don't know that they're linked in any way. The civilization known as the Whisperers appears to be the originators of both the blade and these devices. If we look hard enough, maybe we can find another one.
And I think you'll get one reply back. It's a very simple line. And all it says is, we already have. Lieutenant Ward, what is our last scene with you?
I'm not sure. I think maybe we need to see Tvilic come to Ward, having just realized that she's now lieutenant and can make a recommendation for him to switch streams. Having been on his the original list.
Lieutenant Ward. Hey, Ward.
Hi, Tvilic.
I just need your signature. I'm putting in another application. He smiles. My firing solutions. I mean, they really. Well, anyways, let's just say they work better than the simulators. I'm thinking 0.5 15% improvement. But yeah, I'm applying for security again.
Okay. And you want my signature, or you want any advice?
I mean, advice, I guess. But I think I know a little bit more about security. Okay. But I forgot that you're a lieutenant, junior lieutenant.
Hardly, or you wouldn't be looking for my signature.
Hey. So, is that a yes?
I will sign this if you really want it, but let me tell you one thing. Remember when you were double jobbing when we had those aliens of unusual provenance aboard?
Yes.
And you fell asleep on the job because you cared too much about working security.
That's not how I remember it.
I mean, Andorians snore when they sleep standing up. I'm pretty aware of right now.
And he takes the pad off you and he says, "You could have just said no." But not a word of that to Lieutenant Vate or anyone else.
I will sign this, but just you're stepping into some big shoes over there.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's the poignant moment where Tvilic will look at perhaps a belonging of Lee's or something around,
Nice.
and we'll have that like, will he go through with that decision or not?
Commander Carlton, Captain Carlton, you get the last word, the last scene of the show here. What is it we see you doing?
I'll pull a little two-part here. So
Yeah.
I think you see Carlton in his ready room, and he's writing a log entry, not typing one. He's writing it in on with a stylus. And you see him sort of pondering Lee going into the machine. We see some sort of flashbacks to that, and he finished the sentence with the log report with, "I hope it was a good move," and that Lee still remembers the Federation for time to come. And I think he just puts the pen down and looks pondering sort of out the viewport window. I think that's the last thing we see of Carlton. And then I think we see Farga packing up, because Farga was moved into Lee's room, and I think you see Farga packing up Lee's belongings just as she's sort of finishes. She slumps down onto her bed and bursts into tears, at the loss of Lee, and it's really cut her quite deep, and that's it.
Awesome. And that's our show. That's our series. Great enders there. Thank you, everybody. Let's just do a quick thoughts, stars here as we wrap it up. Let's David, let's start with you. Kind of do the same order we did.
Yeah, there was a lot of great moments, action-packed moments here. I think still one of my favorite moments was the captain trying to do the captain thing and offer some diplomacy to an obvious adversary. I think that was really good. And Ellen, for suggesting the countdown clock for Lee, I think that was a great complication to bring back into the story. But yeah, everyone, all the little character moments, everything were really great. And thank you, Lil, for running this game and for introducing me to the 2D20 system. It's been a blast, and I finally feel like I've entered the world of Star Trek.
Good. Donna?
Yeah, I mean this session specifically, yeah, some gut wrenching moments, and in general, Lowell, I think that palette we did back in session 0 delivered in spades. So yeah, amazing run.
Alan?
Yeah, today I particularly enjoyed, I mean, I've enjoyed throughout actually the main character, secondary character thing, because it means that you can always be involved everywhere. Splitting the party becomes a thing of the past in that respect. I think that's clever. I have enjoyed. I too enjoyed Captain Carlton say we come in peace. Um, I was pleased the way that you managed to tie up a lot of loose ends there in terms of Vate and the knife, and our telepathic returning bad woman, and Jaro wanting to do the self-sacrifice, but then my thanks to David for allowing me to insert Lee into that, because it was just I just couldn't see a way to avoid that one. It was too good to miss. I really enjoyed that last scene between, well, it's actually a triangular. They're not all in the scene together, but it's Ward, Jaro, Farga, that kind of finishes off the Lee story as far as the captain is concerned. And I've had great fun playing Han Lital, the angriest engineer in Starfleet. And you gave us a space battle. I can't ask for more than that.
Nice. Lieutenant Vate.
I mean, I absolutely love this whole series. Like, absolutely. It's got me back onto Star Trek again. Lower Decks was brilliant.
Yeah.
But this particular episode, I actually really loved the Starship combat. I thought it was great, and I thought it worked really well doing the quick characters back and forth between the two. I like that it was both groups were trying their best to solve the situation directly in front of them, right? Like the ship wasn't like, oh, well, the away team's the only one who can solve it now. And the away team wasn't like, oh, the ship's going to solve it. It was both of them. And ultimately, like, the ship, did it save it, or did the away team solve it? It doesn't really matter, because the people on the ship would be trying their best to do it, right? And that's what I liked a lot. I really loved the characters in the cast from this episode in particular, the way it all came out. But across the whole series, I particularly liked our captain being quite a different style, I think, than like we've seen of other starship captains in the Star Trek series, and I think it gives it fit in with like what we built around the Kintsugi and all the people in it. Obviously love Lital, absolutely. Just imagine him being an absolute terror to everybody on the crew, basically below his rank, and indifferent to everybody above it. And I love that he's transferring off for the next season of the show. But I did love every character. I loved the interactions between Ward and the others, and like everything like that. And your very neat handling of the weird relic that I rolled up in character creation, right? Like, so which is a little bit off the normal Star Trek path. That's the one eccentric thing that's like the changeling in Deep Space Nine or something, right? Or the Prophet kind of stuff. But yeah, I really, really loved playing in Star Trek and playing with all of you. It was great.
Awesome. Paul, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yeah, I can't really say much more than everybody else has said. I mean, I really liked Alan's portrayal of Lital, a character I hugely despise. But you played it really well, Alan. You pushed it to the limit a few times. Said, you were respectful of other players, and I think it brought a better character. So it was good to see. Donna, I really liked Ward. Came in loads of different scenes, and I think you were quite instrumental in developing that lower deck thing. So and as captain, I was more than happy to stay out of that and sort of play Farga. David, even though you only came in a bit through the season, you definitely came up trumps with the character there. Maybe I did throw you in a bit with the ambassador thing.
I love that. Thank you.
You fell into it really well, and definitely, your character was just as big as everybody else. Will's gone, so actually, I'm not going to say anything good about Will because he's out. Oh no, he's back. Will, the whole blade thing, I thought it brought a lot, and that you leaned in with Donna with the lower decks thing, that was really good, and I think it did develop another side of the ship. Lowell, really good game. For me, the quick characters were probably the biggest appeal of the game.
Yeah.
No, the biggest appeal of the system, not the biggest appeal of the game. You bought the game,
yeah.
and it was a really good set of adventures, and you did really well tie in lots of things. It never felt, not until we were nearly the final episode, what direction it was going. You kept all those streams open and really tied it up very nicely. So pleasure to play with you and everybody else around the table. Very good.
Awesome. I had a great joy running this. Like, this was really amazing. I actually had is this Surfeit? I have 3 other missions that I wrote, sketched out from previous things that I was like, oh, do I do this one or do I do this one? So I tried to make sure that we got a nice variance of things, but I definitely will come back to this again. I like it. And I was glad we did the starship fight. I was glad everybody went along. I think truncating it versus the way that it's written, I think, is the best way to go and make it quick. And it works fine. I think face to face it'd be stronger because you got paper in front of you and stuff. But thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.
Can I express a wish before you did?
Sure.
There was one scene that I would like after the credits. I think there's a little scene which is 2 non-player characters. It's number 1 and what do we call her? Warrant Officer Kamalo sitting down, and Kamalo says to number 1, there is now a slot in Vate's team. I've got this application, and then we cut.
Okay, nice. I love it. Good stuff. Yeah, I loved all these characters. Let me just say, both primary and secondary, and was a real fun. Now I'm going to stop the recording.